Hey guys, Dr. Kyle Loveless here. Today we're going to talk about psoriasis. This is something that for myself I've dealt with for many of years, and it wasn't until about 5 years ago that I was able to get rid of it. And I know if you're someone that is dealing with psoriasis, it's probably one of, if not the most annoying health condition to deal with because it's itchy, it's uncomfortable. The word psoriasis actually means itchy condition. So it's super uncomfortable, but few people realize that it's not a skin issue. Obviously you see it on your skin, but the underlying cause is something much deeper. We're gonna get into that just a little bit today, but more importantly, I wanna give you 10 things you can do. So by the time you watch this video, you're gonna have 10 things, foods you can start to take out that will make a massive impact, not just in your health, but also in your psoriasis as well. So make sure you like this video. Hey, make sure you share this with friends because a lot of people do not realize that psoriasis is a more in-depth condition that you can really change with diet and different supplements as well. Also, hey, if you're interested in the non-inflammatory book or the How to Reduce Inflammation ebook that I wrote, I give you 10 things to start to remove from your world and diet, and also 10 things you can add back in to reduce inflammation in your body. And that's really the root cause of psoriasis in the first place. So just go in the links below and you can find that link to the ebook, and we'll go from there. All right guys, let's dive into psoriasis and the top 10 things that you can do. I'm gonna make this simple. I wanna make this an actual quick video, not a bunch of added stuff in there, but I want you to really understand why we're taking out these certain foods. So the top 10 foods that I recommend you take out, and I'll go in order with what I think maybe of is importance, okay? And so number one is the one that you've probably heard of before. It's one of the things that everyone's been saying for the last probably 5 or 10 years, is to remove wheat, or specifically gluten. And gluten is something that when we eat gluten, when we eat that wheat product, especially the genetically modified product that we have in our world today, it actually goes into our system. It's this very gummy substance, and our body just doesn't know what to do with it. It actually thinks it's an infection. It releases something called zonulin in our gut, creates a gapping in our actual digestive system lining, which allows proteins to get into the bloodstream and creates all kinds of antibody responses, which is actually what psoriasis is. Psoriasis is an autoimmune response. It's where your body is overactive. Your overactive immune response is actually happening. And one of the other videos, you can go, we'll probably put a link to it, but in one of the other videos I'm talking about on psoriasis, I actually talk about what it is and how it's a TH cell response, an overactive TH cell response, and it all goes back to the immune response, okay? So removing gluten helps reduce the stress on your digestive system and the stress on your immune system. And for some people, that's all they have to do to get rid of psoriasis. That's one of the most important ones. Second is going to be dairy. Now, I know we've been told for years, dairy makes your bones strong. You gotta have milk to have calcium. What are you gonna do with for your vitamin D? Guys, that was marketing. Calcium comes in many different foods, almost all foods actually, but it's very high in things like spinach and other meat products and things like that. So there's plenty of calcium out there in your diet. You don't need milk. Also, it gives you vitamin D2, not vitamin D3 that you're getting from milk. That's why you don't see milk makes your bones strong anymore as a commercial, because it's not true. Now, if you had a raw dairy, a raw cow that's been grass-fed, free-range, organic, then dairy might be okay with you, but good luck in finding that. So for most of us, remove dairy, cheeses, milks, things like that, and that'll make a huge difference because our body, again, it's a constant immune response, especially the way they raise these cows. They highly pasteurize that dairy product, and then there's no more enzymes in there to actually break down what you need. So it's mostly just a big thing of lactose, which is sugar, okay? And then all the other hormones and antibiotics and other stuff that they give those cows. So number 3, so take out dairy. So number 3 is corn. Now, corn, you would say, well, that's a vegetable, right? No, corn's actually a grain, number 1, and number 2 is very hard to break down. And I think we all know that because what happens when you eat corn? Where do you see it? You see it on the other side in the toilet because you're not actually breaking it down. Very hard for our bodies to break down, but it's mostly just sugar, not a high nutrient value. It's something we can live on for short periods of time, but it's also what they feed cows and other types of livestock to fatten them up. And so corn, and corn, just let's say you have a good organic corn, that's still hard to break down, but the 99.9% of the corn in America is genetically modified at the seed level, meaning it is maybe literally designed to handle glyphosates and Roundup, and it's just super toxic. So really hard for our bodies to digest, which leads me to the next thing to take out, which is right in line with corn. It's kind of the crop that you do corn, and then you do, when you pull that corn off the crop, you do soybeans to put some nitrogen back in the soil. Unfortunately, the soybean crop in America is 99.9% genetically modified as well and super toxic for our bodies. And it's also not fermented and created the way that soy was meant to be created back in the day, in terms of like in Asian foods and things like that. So soy is definitely something that's hard for us to break down. It has something called phytoestrogens that act as estrogen in our body. And that's one of the reasons we have so many hormone issues, is because of soy. So it's also very hard on our immune system and our digestive system. So you want to remove first wheat, dairy, corn, and soy. Those are some of the top 4 things you want to start to remove. Now, I'm going to get into the other things that I think some of us already know. Like the next one is refined sugar. So number 5, remove refined sugar. Even though you've known that, you've probably been told that 100 times, it still doesn't happen, and it's in everything. So you really want to read the ingredients list. But sugar feeds yeast. Okay, and one of the major reasons people get psoriasis or even eczema is that yeast overgrowth in the gut, causing a leaky gut, leading to that autoimmune response. So removing refined sugars as much as possible is huge. And now I'm not saying remove refined sugars and then go over to aspartame or sucralose or some sort of synthetic sweetener. That's actually going to be worse than that refined sugar, believe it or not, because it's neurotoxic, and it's one of the main things they've linked to leaky gut issues, which is again the cause, or kind of the beginning part of what would cause something like psoriasis. So you want to remove those refined sugars, but also synthetic sweeteners as well. Okay. Next up on the list, let me go to my board here, is this one you probably never heard of in terms of something you want to avoid. But in doing food allergy testing with patients over the last 4 or 5 years, by the way, for me, I did all this stuff I've already told you, and I still had psoriasis. So I'm not saying it's 100%, but these are great things you have to start with these. So I was doing all those things already, and then I finally went and I did a food allergy test, and I found out I was allergic to a lot of things I was eating on a daily basis. Eggs, chicken eggs was one of them, but black and white pepper was also something I was using. Black pepper went on everything I ate. And so I took that out. So that's my next one. Number 6 is black and white pepper, because a high percentage of the food allergy tests that we do with patients are allergic to black and white pepper. And food allergy that I'm talking about means that you're having what's called an IgG, an antibody response to the protein in black pepper. Well, that's exactly what led to the psoriasis in the first place. So we want to calm down the immune system, not give it so much stress and beat it up so much with the foods that we're eating. So anything that creates that antibody response is going to cause, make psoriasis and immune system issues worse. Okay, so I take out black and white pepper. You can use green pepper, that's a great one, or even something like cayenne pepper or some sort of red peppers instead on your seasonings. The next one up is, this is the one that some people don't like to hear, but it's 100% the truth, and it's alcohol. Alcohol, one, in and of itself just beats up our digestive system in our body in general, but it also has yeast, and yeast will feed this bad bacteria and other yeast in the gut and cause more immune system problems. Hard on the liver, hard on the gallbladder. It's just really hard on our kidneys. It's just really hard on the system. And if you think about it, alcohol is a toxin. It's not, I know it's a normal part of our society, but it's super toxic to our health. And if you're trying to get rid of psoriasis, you want to take alcohol out. Next one on the board here is hydrogenated and partially hydrogenated oils. So number 9, hydrogenated and partially hydrogenated, number 8, hydrogenated, partially hydrogenated oils, things like canola oil, safflower oil, vegetable oils. These are oils that have been pulled out of the food, right? So you take vegetable, they pull it out of the food, and it's very light sensitive, very heat sensitive, and it becomes oxidized like that. And it becomes pretty much a trans fat at that point and is very toxic to our bodies. They put deodorizers in there, and it's just a very toxic fat. And this is the hard part. If you're someone that doesn't eat at home, getting rid of psoriasis is gonna be very difficult. If you're counting on going to restaurants or fast food places and you're trying to get rid of psoriasis, I'm almost gonna say it's probably not gonna happen. You gotta make your own food, use your own oils to be healthy. And canola oil in and of itself, it's from the rapeseed plant, which is highly genetically modified and has a very low heat capacity. Okay, so oils instead, use things like coconut oil, use things like a good quality grapeseed oil. Those are great options, or even avocado oil. Okay, but you wanna check your source, of course. So those 3 things are good. So the 9th thing that I'm gonna talk about to remove, we got a lot here. The 9th thing that I'm gonna say to remove is Baker's and Brewer's yeast. So it's also something that most people are commonly allergic to in these food allergy tests, but it's also something that feeds yeast, right? So Baker's and Brewer's yeast is a definite takeout if you want to reduce psoriasis. And a lot of these things go with eczema too, if you're someone that has eczema. The final one that I'm going to talk about on what you want to remove, and this is the last one is, of course, conventional meats. These are your meats that are being fed corn, or being fed soy, or being fed candy, are being pumped full of hormones, or being pumped full of antibiotics. They're just a toxic mess, right? And it just destroys our health, because when we eat, there's something called bioaccumulation. When you eat a steak that's conventionally raised, you're getting everything that cow ate in that little steak, if that makes sense. It's called bioaccumulation. That's why they tell pregnant women not to eat a tuna fish or not to eat sharks, because they have this bioaccumulation where they're just building up tons of toxins over their lifetime. And when you have that one steak, it's just a bunch of toxins in one. So changing from conventional meats like beef and pork and chicken to more free range, organic, raised the way those animals were supposed to be raised, fed what they're supposed to be fed, and really living off the land. And you're gonna see a huge difference in your health if you make that change. So that's 10 things right there, guys. I just pretty much told you what you need to do to be healthy, not just what you need to do to get rid of psoriasis, but that's just it. Psoriasis is not a skin issue. Psoriasis is a gut and immune system issue. Many times it can be an immune system issue from an old virus, like a strep virus or some sort of other viral infection. And so you got to get your immune system back on track. In the next video, I'm going to actually talk about this. I'm going to talk about what supplements are going to be the best for someone with psoriasis. And the cool part is so I just gave you 10 things to take away, right? Well, you follow that up and they go, well, what do I eat? So you eat vegetables and you eat healthy, free-range, organic, clean meats. That's it. That's what we're meant to eat. We're meant to eat those vegetables. Now, I'm not saying you can't have organic oats or organic quinoa, or organic jasmine rice, or anything. I'm not saying you can't have any carbs. I'm just saying we gotta have clean, real food, right? The stuff that our body is meant to be eating. And so if you make those changes right there, guys, I can promise you, you're gonna be healthier. Will your psoriasis go away? I don't know. There might be more to it than that. There might be more food allergies that you have that are seemingly healthy. You could be allergic to kale, you could be allergic to avocados, could be allergic to apples. So you really want to do a food allergy test to get the good, straight answers, but this is a starting point. Start with this and you're going to see awesome results. All right, guys, hope you all enjoyed that video. Make sure you like this, share it, and subscribe to our channel so you can get more of these videos, because we're always putting out new information, new videos for you guys to grow from. Have an awesome day.